Welcome to our very first episode of The Real Estate Guys. This is Phil Frye, the real estate guy with Century 21 Frank Frye Real Estate, and we have a very special guest and co-host today, my dad, Frank Frye.
Hey, Phil. Good to be here. Thank you.
Dad,
thanks for inviting me over here.
Thank you so much for being on our show, and I know we're going to have a great time, and we're going to give a lot of great information to clients out there and people who are thinking about buying and selling, but we also want to make sure to tell our story and our history of Century 21 Frank Frye Real Estate. You got your real estate license right around 1973 and became a real estate agent. And then in 1977, you decided to start your very own company, Century 21 Frank Frye Real Estate. Now, I was born in 1971, so I'm about 6 years old. My older sister, Elizabeth, is about, at that time, maybe 9 or 10 years old. What was it like taking that leap of faith and starting your very own company?
Well, it was, the timing must have been right because Century 21 contacted me. They were contacting everybody in Newark, trying to establish another office in the Newark area. And they just happened to stop to my office one day, and that's how it got started.
Now, at the time, back in 1977, Century 21 is a relatively new franchise. What was it about Century 21 that impressed you so much that made you decide that you wanted to go with them?
I think what really, when I saw them on television the first time, and it looked like a friendly company, and the concept of could leave the state of Ohio and go all the way to Florida and find another Century 21 office to work with down there. Just seemed like a good idea.
And what was it like when you became your own boss? You were a real estate agent for a few years with other independent companies, and now all of a sudden you're running the show and all the responsibilities on you. What was that like back in 1977?
It'd be like anybody would be a little bit intimidated with the bigger companies, and it was like really had nothing to hang my hat on at the time. My background was not real estate, so I didn't know a lot of ins and outs that I learned over the years.
Now, before you mentioned that your background, you had been working in the funeral business, and earlier you told us that you had always wanted to be a cowboy. So how do you combine cowboy, the funeral business, into a successful real estate career?
Well, the cowboy thing was just, that's because you went to the movie downtown Newark, and that's what was on the screen all day. So anyway, we'll get past that now. Trying to be in business, always wanted to have a business. I wasn't sure what it would be, but real estate seemed like a logical avenue to check out.
Now, growing up here in Newark, we're a small-knit community and turning into a bigger city. And for as long as I can remember, being out in public, whether we're at a restaurant or the ballpark, grocery store, people would come up to you and talk to you, and you have got just an amazing reputation, quality customer service, and our office, that helps out with our office, and all of our agents really pride themselves on offering quality customer service. What do you think are the keys to being able to provide quality customer service?
Well, we all know the key is number one to be as honest as you can with your client, customer, whatever. And the next one is always be available and be willing to give up some of your private time to help someone accomplish what they want to accomplish.
And sometimes that means the late night phone calls. Sometimes that means being afraid to go on vacation because you're going to miss a deal or something like that. But you've been able to, do it for about 50 years and do it really well. And just recently, you were named Best Real Estate Agent in Licking County, and our company received Best Real Estate Brokerage, voted on by the public for Licking County. So those awards definitely come to our office, and it all starts with you. So thank you for being such a
I think
great
it's just
leader.
the name. I think it's more the name than it is anything. But it's always fun to go around and say, "Hey, I'm Frank Frye," and some young person will go like, where have I heard that before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are still saying that I bought or sold my first house through Frank Frye. And I know
You probably did.
yeah.
We helped a lot of people
So
accomplish that.
back in the 80s, we talked, and I'm just a kid. I'm not really understanding what you're going through as a business person, but the interest rates of the 80s, the higher interest rates, money is tight for lending. And so you made it through that. Now a few years ago, we make it through a pandemic. Interest rates drop dramatically. They're down below 3% for some people buying. People are buying at 2.7% interest rate. Now the interest rates are back up. In 2023, they went to 8%. Now you can get interest rates between 6 and 7. So what's your best advice for buyers who are nervous about today's interest rates?
I always feel like interest rates are important, but if they go up, they usually go down. If they're down, they usually go up. So always be ready to adapt to what's going on in the market.
And for buyers adapting, in addition to the interest rates, where do you think buyers should start with their home buying process to make sure that we can help them as best as possible?
Well, I think we do offer a service that people need to get started, and sometimes it takes a few weeks for them to realize that, hey, I do need a realtor to, show me what I can do and what I can't do. So, to me, that's our job, and that's what is needed in the market.
A lot of talk of supply and demand. I mean, we've known for years that supply and demand's been so important. Multiple offers on properties, buyers losing out to cash deals or no inspections. Every now and then you hear an agent say, I've shown 10 properties to this buyer. What do you think your record is for the most homes you've ever shown to a buyer, or amount of time that you've worked with a buyer?
Um, I'm not sure on that one. I can just remember when we weren't selling houses, and that was somewhere in the 1980s, and that was a lot of because of politics going on, but it it different. People are definitely in the buying mood, and it's changed dramatically how fast people react to buying today. You got to remember, years back, people just stayed in their house. They didn't worry about moving. There wasn't any reason to move. If it had only one bathroom, that's the way it was. And if we 10 people in that house, they didn't care. That's just the way it worked. So that's the way people were kind of raised and grew up and so forth.
How about what differences have you seen for first-time home buyers? A first-time home buyer could be somebody in their teens, late teens. It could be somebody in their early to mid-20s. It could be somebody in their 30s, 40s, or older. Has anything really changed with first-time home buyers over the years?
I don't think it's a big change, but we do see the younger people interested in real estate. And I think that's a lot because of the media. They have a chance to understand that if they really want to own something, it's a good time to be thinking about it.
All right. Recent NAR settlement just came down, and some of the changes for that for us is we now are required to start using buyer representation agreements whenever we work with buyers before we even show them a property. It's basically a contract to work with us or work with another agent. And another thing is that sellers, we can't, as real estate agents, we can't put in how much compensation the seller may give to a buyer's brokerage. We can't put that into the MLS. The sellers can still pay a commission to the buyer brokerage, but for the first time in decades, we can't do something like that in the MLS. I know you've seen a lot of industry changes. You've been through a lot in 50 years. What do you think, or how do you think real estate agents best survive these changes and still be able to give the best customer service to their buyers and sellers?
The desire from the buyer is still there, so you can't stop that. So you just have to learn what the rules are and how it's going to work. And once everyone figures it out, things will just take off again, just like they were. We're not sure who or why they changed things, but they definitely have changed it, and realtors always seem to be able to adapt to whatever that change is.
And how important would you say real estate agents are to buyers, especially in this market?
You need a real estate agent basically to educate you as a buyer what is available and how you're going to get it, how you're going to get the product. So that's always been the motto of a good agent, I think.
And how about on the flip side for the sellers? For years now, it's been a seller's market, especially here in Central Ohio. In addition to sellers or property owners talking to us about listing their property, what are some great tips to get sellers ready for putting their home or property on the market?
Well, the seller may think their property is the best one on the block, but sometimes we point out things that we see they don't see of what they might do to improve their property, and we explained how many people we think they can expect, how many showings they might have, or the bigger thing in real estate right now is once you sell your property, where do you go? And that's always a question that comes up. You know, how fast do you need to move on to that next level of your life?
We get asked quite a bit, what are some improvements that sellers should make, not only to help maybe make them more money when they sell it, but also to win a buyer's heart and mind when they want to make an offer. What are some of the key improvements that you think that sellers can make to their home?
We know it's always condition of the real estate, and that can be anywhere from the basement clear up to the roof. So we always know that the more improvement in the condition, general condition, is always going to help. But showing the seller or the buyer that you're really anxious to, maybe not anxious, but you're willing to work with any buyer that is making an offer to make the transaction happen.
All right. So we've talked a lot about doing this for 50 years, since 1977. And, a lot of people ask me, is your dad retired? Does he still come into the office? And my answer is always, He's here Monday through Friday and sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays. You could easily be on the beach in Florida. You could easily be at the family farm. You could even be on the couch at home. What is it about real estate and what is it about this company that keeps you coming in day after day?
I'm no different than any other realtor. I think all of us, after the closing of a property, having the buyer come up and shake your hand and tell you that they're happy that you helped them get the property. And I think it doesn't matter who you are. You always like to hear that.
Very nice. That is so true. You mentioned earlier that younger people are getting interested in real estate. You know, some of it has to do with the TV shows that they can see. Some of it has to do with social media, podcasts, things like that. We're seeing real estate agents come to us even at an age. Some are still in high school. Some are very young adults. For years, we've said that you could be 18, you could be 80, you could be 90, whatever. You can still be a successful real estate agent. What is your best advice for somebody who wants to get into real estate and wants to get a real estate license?
Well, we know in the Newark area there's a lot of good offices in this area, and it's best to just maybe make contact with that office and say, I'd like to come in and talk to someone about real estate. Is there anybody available? And that'd be a good start right there to me.
And if somebody, when somebody comes to us, what are some key things that you're looking for in a possible recruit?
I think anybody that is trying to get into this business, they should be thinking about how they're going to be helping buyers and sellers, and getting paid for doing that.
All right. You're also known for taking some walks around the downtown square during the day, and we have the occasional Frank Frye sightings around town, and as agents and family members, we love to walk around with you to see what's going on. What are some of your favorite memories that you've had in downtown Newark, either as a kid or adult or as a business owner?
Well, I think the square really hasn't changed a lot. It's only changed because the world changes, we know that. But it still has a lot of personality.
And with our community and our county, Licking County and Central Ohio, starting to change with Intel coming in and all the businesses that Intel brings with it. Did you ever think that you would see big changes like this happening right here in Newark, Ohio, and Licking County?
Being this close to Columbus, I think it always felt like Columbus is Columbus and Newark is Newark. But yeah, there was a lot of things that kept us. In my mind, I was, like go to a high state football game, whatever. So there was a lot of things to do around here, and I can see why Licking County is so popular with everybody. Doesn't matter who you talk to right now.
All right. I've asked you a lot of questions. You've been a great guest and co-host. What is one question that you would like to ask to me?
Do you enjoy real estate?
I do. That's a great question. So my story is in 2008, I joined Century 21 Frank Frye Real Estate. In 2007, I was working at the Licking County Board of Realtors, and before that, I had done news media, worked in sports a little bit, worked at WNKO Cool 101.7, And I had gotten burned out on all of my careers at that time. It was lasting about 5 or 6 years. And I'll never forget, we're having lunch over on the courthouse square. And, I'm just telling you, I don't know what I want to do. I need to do something new. And, without missing a beat, you pointed over in the general direction of the office and, basically said, come work with me, come to our company. And for the first time ever, it made sense in my life. And I think I was like 38 at the time or so.
That sounds right.
Yeah, first time ever it made sense. And what I really enjoy about real estate, just like you talked about, is being able to help people with their real estate needs, that success of, making sure that they're happy, whether they're selling or they're buying, but also to just try and figure out the best way to help people. And it's something new every day. And that's something that's so hard to experience in a job or profession. But everybody that we talk to, we kind of jokingly call it the real estate roller coaster, because you're up here one day, you're down here the next, and you're trying to get back up. And that's what really makes me excited about it. So a follow-up question to that was, did you ever think that I would be in real estate?
No, but I always thought you'd be good at it if you tried it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you've definitely set the bar high for all of us, not only here at Century 21 Frank Frye, but for everybody in the community. And I get to ask you a mystery question, and so let's see, what could it be? You talked about being wanting to be a cowboy, and I know you're only half joking about that. So what is it about a cowboy that you found exciting as a young kid, or even as a young adult, or even still today?
Well, you were always after the bad guy and locking him up and whatever. Always seemed like that'd be fun. And it just looked like that was a good time to be around back then.
All right, and you got to ride a horse.
You can get to ride a horse.
You got to camp out. And maybe carry a gun, or at least ride around with authority.
Well, cowboys, they were just nice guys. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no doubt about it. Especially if they had a white hat.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Is there anything that we haven't covered today that you would like to make sure that we cover in our first ever video?
I think we covered it pretty well, and just always, for anybody that's ever thought about either selling real estate or buying real estate, anything to do with real estate in any way, pursue it. It's always going to be there. Always going to be there.
All right, great advice. Thank you so much for doing this with me, and saying yes and nodding your head quite a bit whenever I was telling you what was about to happen.
Thank you.
All right, well, thanks for joining us on our very first episode of The Real Estate Guys with Century 21 Frank Frye Real Estate. Remember, you can find us online at c21frankfrye.com. You can also find us on social media, or give us a call, 740-345-4001. We're located in downtown Newark, 65 East Church Street, just a block off of the Courthouse Square. And special thanks to our also favorite sponsor, Casey Claxon with Claxon Custom Printing and Promotions. For all of your printing and promotion needs, make sure to give Casey Claxon a call. Thank you very much, Dad.
Okay, it's been fun.
All right.